ਹਾਂਜੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ। ਆਈ ਹੋਪ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਠੀਕ ਠਾਕ ਹੋਵੋਗੇ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਰੈਡੀ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੀ 15 ਮਿੰਟ ਦੀ ਰੀਡਿੰਗ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਲਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਲਾਰਮ ਤੇ ਰੀਡਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ। ਓਕੇ ਜੀ, ਟਾਈਮਰ ਸੈੱਟ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਬੁੱਕ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ। Why is all this relevant? For an amazing number of reasons, apart from those that are comically obvious. First, we know that lobsters have been around in one form or another for more than 350 million years. This is a very long time. 65 million years ago, there were still dinosaurs. That is, that is the unimaginably distant past to us. To the lobsters, however, dinosaurs were the new breach who appeared and disappeared in the flow of near eternal time. This means that dominance hierarchies have been an essentially permanent feature of the environment to which all complex life has adapted. A third of a billion years ago, brains and nervous systems were comparatively simple. Nonetheless, they already had the structure and neurochemistry necessary to process information about status and society. The importance of this fact can hardly be overstated. The nature of nature. It is a truism of biology that evolution is conservative. When something evolves, it must build upon what nature has already produced. New features may be added and old features may undergo some alteration, but most things remain the same. It is for this reason that the wings of bats, the hands of human beings, and the fins of whales look astonishingly alike in their skeletal form. They even have the same number of bones. Evolution laid down the cornerstones. What is cornerstones? For basic physiology long ago. Evolution works in large part through variation and natural selection. Variation exists for many reasons, including gene shuffling and random mutation. Individuals vary within a species for such reasons. Nature chooses from among them across time. That theory, as stated, appears to account for the continual alteration of life forms over the eons. Word is eons. But there is an additional question lurking. What is lurking under the surface? What exactly is the nature in nature selection? What exactly the environment to which animals adapt? We make many assumptions about nature, about the environment, and these have consequences. Mark Twain once said, "It's not what we don't know that gets us in trouble, it's what we know for sure that just ain't so." First, it is easy to assume that nature is something static, but it's not. At least not in any simple sense. It's static and dynamic at the same time. The environment, the nature that selects itself transforms. The famous yin and yang symbols of the Taoists capture this beautifully. Being for the Taoists, really itself is composed of two opposing principles, often translated as feminine and masculine, or even more narrowly as female and male. However, yin and yang are more accurately understood as chaos and order. The Taoist symbol is a circle enclosing twin serpents, head, head to tail. The black serpent, the black serpent chaos has a white dot in its head. The white serpent order has a black dot in his head. This is because chaos and order are interchangeable as well as eternally just juxtaposed. What is juxtaposed? There is nothing so certain that it cannot vary. Even the sun itself has its cycles of instability. Likewise, there is nothing so mutable that it cannot be fixed. Every revolution produces a new order. Every revolution produces a new order. Every death is simultaneously a metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis? Considering nature as purely static produces serious errors of apprehension. What is apprehension? Nature selects. The idea of selects contains implicitly. What is implicitly? Nested within it the idea of fitness. It is fitness that is selected. Fitness, roughly speaking, is the probability that a given organism will leave offspring, will propagate its genes through time. The fit in fitness is therefore the matching of organismal attributes to environmental demand. If the demand is conceptualized as static, if nature is conceptualized as eternal and unchanging, then evolution is a never ending series of linear improvements, and fitness is something that can be ever more closely approximated across time. The still powerful Victorian idea of evolutionary progress, with man at the pinnacle, what is pinnacle, is a partial consequence of this model of nature. It produces the erroneous notion that there is a destination of natural selection increasing fitness to the environment and that it can be conceptualized as a fixed point. But nature, the selecting agent, is not a static selector, not in any simple sense. Nature dresses differently for each occasion. Nature varies like a musical score, and that in part explains why music produces its deep intimations of meaning. As the environment supporting a species transforms and changes, the features that make a given individual successful in surviving and reproducing also transform and change. Thus, the theory of natural selection does not posit. What is posit? Creatures matching themselves even more precisely to a template specified by the world. It is more that creatures are in a dance with nature, albeit, what is albeit? One that is deadly. In my kingdom, as the Red Queen tells Alice in the World, you have to run as fast as you can just to stay in the same place. No one standing still can triumph, no matter how well constituted. Nature is not simply dynamic either. Some things change quickly, but they are nested within other things that change quickly. Music frequently models this too. Leaves leaves change more quickly than trees, and trees more quickly than forests. Weather changes faster than climate. If it wasn't this way, then the conservatism of evolution would not work as the basic morphology. What is morphology? Of arms and hands would have to change as fast as the length of arm bones and the function of fingers. It's chaos within order, within chaos, within higher order. The order that is most real is the order that is most unchanging. The order that is most real is the order that is most unchanging, and the order is not necessarily the order that is most easily seen. The leaf, when perceived, might blink the observer to the tree. The tree can blink him. The leaf, when perceived, might blind the observer of the tree. The tree can blind him to the forest. And some things that are most real, such as the ever present dominance hierarchy, cannot be seen at all. It is also a mistake to conceptualize nature romantically. Rich modern city dwellers, surrounded by hot, baking concrete, imagine the environment as something pristine and paradisal. What is pristine? Like a French impressionist landscape. Eco-activists, even more idealistic in their viewpoint, envision nature as harmoniously balanced and perfect, absent the disruptions and depredations of mankind. What is depredations? Unfortunately, the environment is also elephantiasis. What is elephantiasis? And Guinea or guinea worms. Guinea worms, don't ask. Anopheles, mosquitoes and malaria, starvation level droughts, AIDS and the black plague. We don't fantasize about the beauty of these aspects of nature, although they are just as real as their Adamic counterparts. It is because of the existence of such things, of course, that we attempt to modify our surroundings, protecting our children, building cities and transportation systems, and growing food and generating power. If Mother Nature wasn't so hell bent on our destruction, it would be easier for us to exist in simple harmony with her dictates. And this brings us to a third erroneous concept that nature is something strictly segregated from the cultural constructs that have emerged within it. The order within the chaos and order of being is all the more natural the longer it has lasted. This is because nature is what selects, and the longer a feature has existed, the more time it has had to be selected and to shape life. It doesn't matter whether that feature is physical and biological or social and cultural. All that matters from a Darwinian perspective is permanence. And the dominance hierarchy, however social or cultural it might appear, has been around for some half a billion years. It's permanent, it's real. The dominance hierarchy is not capitalism, it's not communism either. For that matter, it's not the military industrial complex, it's not the patriarchy. What is patriarchy? That disposable, malleable. What is malleable? Arbitrary, cultural artifact. It's not even a human creation, not in the most profound sense. It is instead a near eternal aspect of the environment, and much of what is blamed on these more what is ephemeral manifestations in a consequence of its unchanging existence. We, the sovereign we, the we that has been around since the beginning of life, have lived in the dominance hierarchy for a long time. We were struggling for position before we had skin or hands or lungs or bones. There is little more natural than culture. Dominance hierarchies are older than trees. Dominance hierarchies are older than trees. The part of our brain. ਸੋ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਜੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਹੈ 15 ਮਿੰਟ ਤੇ ਸਹੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਪੈਰਾਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਵੀ ਪੂਰਾ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੱਲ ਪੜਾਂਗੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੜਾਂਗੇ ਉਹ ਪੜਾਂਗੇ 14 ਨੰਬਰ 23 ਤੋਂ ਥੱਲੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੈਰਾਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਐਂਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕੱਲ ਦੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਟੇਕ ਕੇਅਰ ਜੀ।